Hi, I'm Aishwarya presenting you the topic transaction management. Here we will be discussing about transaction management, making EJB server aware of database transaction isolation levels. Transaction management. Transaction management refers to the task of processing multiple transactions issued by various clients of a database server in such a way that the asset contract can be fulfilled. It means that transaction management is a task of processing multiple transactions and this must satisfy the asset properties that is atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. One of the value added feature that Enterprise Java Bean provides over regular remote object is semi-automated transaction management. In EJB, one of the added feature is a semi-automated transaction management. If you are not interested in using a transaction management features of your EJP server, you can skip this and jump to the material implementing EJP objects. And if you are planning to make use of a JDBC cards from within your Java Bean, you should note the information on the database transaction. Transaction break up a series of interaction into units of work that can either committed if they are successfully executed or rolled back at any time before transaction is committed. That is, if the transaction completes it will be in a committed state, or if any error or not able to complete its transaction it will move to the rollback state. And if the transaction is rolled back, all the parties involved in the transaction or the parties are responsible for restoring their state to the pre-transaction condition. And the transaction support is important in a distributed environment because if the agent lost network contact with other agent, or one agent may die when engaged in series of interaction with other agent. In this all cases we need a transaction management support. The EJB container is the principal player in the area of transaction management since it is responsible for either generating the transaction around client interaction with the bean or detecting client request transaction and then notifying the EJB object about transaction boundaries. That is, the EJB container is the principal player because it is the only one which is responsible for the transaction or detecting the client request transaction and then notifying the object about the transaction boundaries. And the EJB architecture relies on the Java Transaction API, that is JTA, for the transaction support. And the JTA represents a transaction with the JavaX.user JavaX.transaction.user transaction interface. Now let us see a example program. Here the first two line, that is context ctx equal to new initial context of props and account home acct home equal to account home of ctx dot lookup of accounts. Here we get a JNDI context and use it to the home interface. That is the context CTX equal to new initial context of, we are getting the JNDI context, and this JNDI context is we are using this in the next method, that is account home ACCT home equal to account home dot home of CTX dot lookup method. We are using that CTX. Next we can see next two lines, we can see account savings equal to ACCT home dot find by name and type of gym comma savings, and next also account checking. Here we are creating two accounts, that is one for saving and other for checking. And after creating account, we are using a JNDI lookup on EJP context to get a transaction object, that is java x dot transaction dot user transaction x action. Here we are creating an x action object, transaction object, that is java x dot transaction dot user transaction x action equal to user transaction of ctx dot lookup of java dot transaction dot user transaction. Next we are begin the transaction. Here next step is to begin a transaction. We have previous step itself we can see that a client or an EJP object can uh, declare declare a new transaction by creating a user transaction object by using x action, and by using that x action object, the transaction object, we are beginning the transaction. That is we are starting the transaction by begin method, and in a try block we are performing the operation, that is saving dot deposit of 1500 comma 0 and checking dot transfer of saving comma 750 comma 0. Here we are performing the transaction, and if it is successful we are ending the transaction by calling the commit method. And if any steps anything went wrong, we will need to roll back the transaction by using a rollback method, and it is stated in a catch block, that is we have put the x action dot rollback method in a catch block. And here we are about, if we call the rollback method, we are about the transaction and reverse to the state before the transaction begin. In the context of an EJP components, transaction boundaries can be defined by the client of an EJP objects, the container, then EJP object itself. And in all cases, the EJP container decides how to handle the transaction context whenever a remote method is invoked on an EJP object. During Bean's lifetime, the container decides whether to execute the Bean's business method within the client transaction or within a transaction that a container defines on to allow the beans to manage its own boundaries. When it is deployed, a bean can choose one of the following transaction support attributes. Here we can see some of the transaction support attribute. First one is the TX not supported. The bean cannot support transaction, so its method must be called without a transaction context. Second attribute is TX supports. The bean supports transaction if requested only. TX required. The bean requests that all method request be executed within the transaction context. The fourth one is TX request new. The bean requests that all remote method requests be executed within the new transaction. Next attribute is TX mandatory. The bean must run within the context of a client initiated transaction. The last one is TX bean managed. The bean manages all its own transaction boundaries and does not execute within the client's transaction. The next subtopic is making EJB server aware of database transaction. In order for an EJB server to properly implement the various transaction levels listed previously, we have discussed many transaction levels previously. In order to properly implement that, it need to be aware that we must have a knowledge about JDBC connection and database transaction that you make from within your enterprise bean. The key is this is key to EJP server's ability to provide your bean with semi-automatic transaction. That here we have discussed that one of the feature of EJP is the automatic transaction management. When the bean method are executing within a given transaction context, the EJP server need to ensure all database transactions that you make are held pending the commit or rollback of transaction. If a transaction is committed, the pending database updates are committed to the respective data sources. If the transaction is rolled back, the pending database updates are rolled back as well. Um, to allow the EJP server to do this, you have been typically need to acquire JDBC connection in a manner specified by your EJP server. The oversight in the EJP specification is amended. The EJP server vendor have to provide their own method for an EJP objects to get connection that are monitored by the EJP container. Most EJP vendors provide a way to define a pool of JDBC connections and a mean for requesting connection from this pool at a runtime. The JDBC use get connection method for connecting to the database, that is connection con equal to driver management dot get connection of. Transaction isolation levels. Normally, we expect multiple transactions originating from a multiple client requests on your bean to be effectively serialized. Or in other words, we can say if multiple client transactional requests are made of your bean and the end effect of satisfying all these requests time sharing time sharing the bean between the client transaction should be the same as if each request were serialized at the boundaries of the transaction. Uh, we can simply say that, or in a simple words, we can say that normally we are expecting a multiple transaction originating from the multiple client records on a bean to be effectively serialized. The ANSI SQL standard defines a three-way in which this transaction isolation rule can be violated. That is, the first one is the dirty reads. That is, if transaction A updates a record in the database, followed by a transaction B reading the record, Then the transaction A performs the rollback on its updates operation. The result is the transaction B has read the invalid state of the record. That is, the transaction A updates the data a record in the database and followed by a transaction B reading the record. Then the transaction A performs the rollback on its update, and the transaction B is performing a invalid state of the record. That is, it is reading the invalid state of the record. That is the dirty reads. Second one is the non-repeatable reads. Here the reverse operation or an opposite method is performing. If a transaction A reads a record in a database followed by a transaction B updating the same record, then the transaction A reads the same record second time. Then the transaction A reads two different value from the same record. That is the non-repeatable read. The third one is phantom read. That is, if a transaction A performs a query on a database with a particular search criteria, that is performing a query, that is for example by using a where clause followed by a transaction B creating a new record that satisfies the search criteria followed by transaction A repeating its query. Then the transaction A sees a new phantom record in the result of the second query. That is transaction A performing a query on the database for a particular criteria, and this transaction B creating a record that satisfies the search criteria. Then if the transaction A repeats its query, and it will see a new phantom record in the result of the second query. Here are some isolation levels that are used when you deploy your enterprise bean within a EJP container. You can specify what level of transaction isolation you want it to enforce for you. The first one is the transaction read uncommitted. Here, all the defined isolation violations are allowed. That is, dirty read, non-repeatable read, and phantom reads are allowed. Second one is the transaction read committed. Here, the dirty read are prevented, but the remaining two, that is non-repeatable read and phantom reads, are allowed. That is transaction read committed. Third one is transaction repeatable read. Here only the phantom read are allowed. The remaining two are not allowed. And the fourth one is transaction serializable. All the defined isolation violation are prevented. That is the three are violation are prevented, making concurrent transaction effectively serialized. So let us now conclude our topic, that is a transaction management refers to the task of processing multiple transactions issued by various clients of database server in such way that ACID contract can be fulfilled. That is, the transaction management is the process of processing multiple transactions, that each operation must be satisfied the ACID properties. And we have discussed many transaction support attributes such as TX not supported, TX supports, TX required, TX requires new, TX mandatory, TX being managed, etc. Finally, we discussed transaction isolation levels, that is transaction read uncommitted, which allow all isolation violation are allowed. The three, that is dirty read, non-repeatable read, and phantom reads are allowed. The transaction read committed. Here the dirty read are prevented but remaining two. Non-repeatable and phantom read are allowed. The transaction repeatable read. Here only the phantom read is allowed and the transaction serializable. Here all the three are prevented. All the three isolation violation are prevented, making concurrent transaction effectively serialized. Hope you all understand the topic. Thank you.